We have two readings, John.
The rich man and Lazarus. There was a rich man who was dressed in purple and fine linen and lived in luxury every day. At his gate was laid a beggar named Lazarus, covered with sores and longed to eat what fell from the rich man's table. Even the dogs came and licked his sores. The time came when the beggar died and the angels carried him to Abraham's side. The rich man also died and was buried in Hades, where he was in torment. He looked up and saw Abraham far away with Lazarus by his side. So he called to him, "Father Abraham, have pity on me and send Lazarus to dip the tip of his finger in water and cool my tongue, because I am in agony in this fire." But Abraham replied, "Son, remember that in your lifetime you received your good things, while Lazarus received bad things. But now he is comforted here, and you are in agony. And besides all this, between us and you, a great chasm has been set in place, so that those who want to go from here to you cannot, nor can anyone cross over from there to us." He answered, "Then I beg you, Father, send Lazarus to my family, for I have 5 brothers. Let him warn them, so that they will not also come to this place of torment." Abraham replied, "They have Moses and the prophets. Let them listen to them." "No, Father Abraham," he said, "but if someone from the dead goes to them, they will repent." He said to him, "If they do not listen to Moses and the prophets, they will not be convinced, even if someone rises from the dead." And the second reading is from John, chapter 1. When Jesus saw Nathanael approaching, he said of him, "Here truly is an Israelite in whom there is no deceit." "How do you know me?" Nathanael asked. Jesus answered, "I saw you when you were still under the fig tree before Philip called you." Then Nathanael declared, "Rabbi, you are the Son of God. You are the King of Israel." Jesus said, "You believe because I told you I saw you under the fig tree. You will see greater things than that." He then added, "Very truly, I tell you, you will see heaven open and the angels of God ascending and descending on the Son of Man." This is the word of the Lord.
Thank you, John. On the order of service, it says conversation. And those of you who are regulars here know that Paul will wander around and talk and pull out a few of the points that we're going to cover in the service. So when I saw that, I thought, well, what am I going to say? Shall I just delete that bit and just move on? And I thought, well, maybe not. There's a couple of things in those two readings that I thought were really interesting. Anybody have a thought on what stands out in those readings? We're probably most all familiar with those readings, aren't we? You know, they're ones we've heard 100 times or 10 times, or if it's the first time you've heard it, what struck you? What did you think? You're all looking at your feet now, aren't you? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, no. We came here, and I know it's not Paul, but at least he could say something useful. There were 2 things about that. We actually had 3 readings, and we dropped one of them, and we were trying to work out which of the 3 should we actually use. And Mike's going to talk about the passage from John, and there are a couple of things in there that I really thought were interesting. But I also like the point about the Lazarus. And the reason why I like that, if we're talking about angels, you know, we think about them at Christmas. How many people have been dressed up as angels at Christmas? All the blonde women. Yeah. Sue's on Zoom, so I'm sure she's waving at the moment. We think of angels at Christmas. We think of them as messengers, and we forget perhaps how powerful they are. We don't understand, as I said at the beginning, we don't really know what an angel is. But the point about this is, I think, that even if you have this amazing, powerful being coming down to earth and saying incredible messages, you know, we think of the shepherds, we think of the wise men, we think of all these people that interacted with angels in the Christmas story. And we think about the fact that the shepherds in particular, they came down from the hills, they acted on it, they responded to them. But I love that point in the Lazarus story, that even if we had these amazing, powerful messengers today, doesn't necessarily mean to say that people will change their behaviour. You know, Jesus walked amongst us, and still people did not believe him, still did not follow him. So when we're thinking about angels, I love the bit in the John, actually the stuff that really struck me in the John passage, is that bit where he says, oh, you know, this is a man without deceit. He really does praise this guy, Nathaniel. But then he says, you're going to see even more powerful things, even more amazing things. You're going to see angels coming up and down between heaven. And I love that sort of call to action. Sometimes I think we get used to sitting in our seats, and we don't necessarily expect God to do dramatic things, amazing things. You know, when we're praying for our friends that are unwell, you know, do we believe that God can and will heal? We should be praying for those things. So as we think this morning through this, think about angels. They're not just Christmas characters. They're an important part of the story for us, but also Jesus mentions them. He talks about this idea of, you know, angels coming, heaven being open and angels coming through. So again, as we think more about that this morning, perhaps just think about those two passages and about what God might be saying to you in this moment. That's the conversation, by the way. So you can tell Paul I did that bit. I took that bit off.